Imagine a place that tells a story spanning centuries, where culture and nature intertwine to create something truly extraordinary. That's the beauty of UNESCO World Heritage Sites. I'm Abigail, and this is Global Treasures, the podcast that covers the history, travel tips, and legends surrounding one of the 1,248 World Heritage Sites each episode. These places have been identified as having universal cultural or natural significance that is so exceptional that it transcends national boundaries and is of importance to present and future generations. Thank you for listening to the Global Treasures podcast. We appreciate all of your support, and you can continue to support us by subscribing at Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, Podbean, or your favorite platform. You can also follow us on TikTok, Facebook, or check out my blog on globaltreasurestravel.com. Today, we're heading to the western coast of the island country of Cyprus, to a place where the history doesn't just live in museum exhibits. It lines the streets under your very feet. We're going to be exploring Paphos, a UNESCO World Heritage Site that has been occupied since the Neolithic period, which spans 7,000 to 1700 BC. It's a city steeped in legends and tales that have been passed down through the ages. To understand Paphos, I have to take a step back and explain who Aphrodite was. Ancient Greeks worshipped many gods and goddesses, one of which was Aphrodite. She was the goddess of love and beauty and the center of a cult. I should clarify, when I say cult, I mean the ancient practice of veneration and worship dedicated to pre-Hellenistic fertility deities. Legend has it that she was born from the sea and landed on these very shores. This connection to the divine inspired a temple to be erected, likely around the 12th century BC. In fact, this site is so ancient that archaeologists have discovered items inscribed with Cypriot syllabary dating back to the 7th century BC. This was the writing system used before the Greek alphabet took the main stage. The site is divided into two main areas of high value. Perched upon a hill, this village contains the remnants of the original temple of Aphrodite. The atmosphere is still thick with Phoenician origins of her worship here. Female figurines were actually uncovered here, dating all the way back to the early 3rd millennium BC. Then there's Nea Paphos, or Cato Paphos. This was Aphrodite's sacred city. It holds villas, palaces, theaters, and even fortresses. Most notably, the mosaics of Nea Paphos are world-renowned. They are in incredible condition, considering their age, and they depict scenes that have inspired poets and artists for millennia. This includes Homer, who referenced Aphrodite in the Iliad, which is the oldest piece of literature that is still widely read and referenced on the planet. But it wasn't all palaces and poetry. Paphos is seismically active, and earthquakes have shaped its history. You can see the weight of that history at the necropolis Taphiton Basilehan, otherwise known as the tombs of the kings. These aren't just holes in the ground. They're grand, underground chambers that reflect the ancient religious importance of the city. In fact, skeletons that were found at the house of Dionysus, with coins in hand, were only preserved because they were buried by the 4th century earthquakes. Paphos is currently managed by the curator of ancient monuments of Cyprus. They have a solid plan in place to ensure excavation and preservation is conducted thoughtfully and with an ample budget, which will ensure its legends live on for future generations to learn from. Now, let's trade the history books for a boarding pass and talk logistics if you're planning to visit. As usual, I'll put links in the show notes to help make planning your trip a bit easier. Let's start with the best time to visit based on the size of the crowds and the weather. The sun in Cyprus is intense. It rarely rains during the summer, and temperatures easily climb above 90 degrees Fahrenheit. To avoid the blistering heat, I highly recommend visiting in May or June. If you do go in the height of summer, bring your sunscreen and hats. If you're flying in from another country, Paphos is home to the second largest international airport in Cyprus, aptly named Paphos International Airport. The best part is that it takes under 30 minutes to get from the airport to the heart of the town. Once you're there, you'll find a modern city of about 35,000 people. While there is a bus system, they aren't always known for being on time, so plan your itinerary accordingly or consider a rental car. In terms of purchasing tickets for the site, you can buy them independently for the Paphos Archaeological Park and the Tomb of the Kings on site at their ticket office. They offer one or multi-day passes. You can also opt for guided group or private tours in your native language. This site is open almost every single day of the year, outside of a few major holidays, such as Christmas. Outside of the site, if you love art, you'll be in heaven here. There are galleries scattered throughout the city and art-related events and festivals held year-round. Another site worth visiting while here is St. Solomoni Church. Make sure to visit and see the 12th century frescoes. At the entrance, you'll find a sacred tree, believed to cure ailments for those who hang a personal offering on its branches. If you love the beach, you'll enjoy the beautiful, rocky waters here. They really are picturesque. There are numerous options that offer free access to visitors. Now, let's pivot to talking about my favorite part of travel, the cuisine. You cannot leave Cyprus without trying halloumi. It's a firm, white cheese that tastes a bit like goat cheese, but holds its shape when grilled or fried. You'll also see a lot of grilled meat skewers on menus, usually chicken, along with bulgur, which is a common staple food. I would liken it to being somewhat similar to couscous. And just a pro tip, Look for restaurants that give you the opportunity to gaze across the coastal views. The sunsets here are quite possibly some of the best views the Mediterranean has to offer. Also, regarding the restaurants, be prepared to embrace the siesta lifestyle. Like much of southern Europe, many shops and restaurants close midday during the hottest hours, so don't be surprised if the city goes quiet after lunch. I always make sure to have snacks on me, just in case. And just a note for fellow travelers like me, who sometimes tend to overplan or are a bit more introverted and like some quiet time. Paphos is a lot to take in, physically and visually. The archaeological park calls for a lot of walking and can be a bit demanding, of course, in the best way possible. That said, if you're traveling with a group, designate some alone time. It is perfectly okay to head back to your hotel to recharge your batteries a bit. This will allow you to truly appreciate the experience without feeling burnt out. All of this said, Paphos stands as a 5,000-year-old bridge between the dawn of civilization and the height of the classical world. From its Neolithic foundations to its transformation into the legendary birthplace of Aphrodite, this city has witnessed the evolution of language, art, and worship. Thank you for listening to another episode of the podcast. Join me next time, where I'll cover yet another World Heritage Site worth visiting. Until then, keep exploring, keep wondering, and keep treasuring the remarkable diversity of our world's heritage.